Most men think attraction is about saying the perfect thing, looking impressive, or knowing exactly how to make a woman interested. But there is one simple behavior that gets overlooked so often that almost nobody talks about it. And the interesting part, it doesn't require money, status, perfect looks, or some secret dating technique. In fact, it can happen in a few seconds during an ordinary conversation. Yet when a man consistently does it, a woman can feel something surprisingly powerful. This person actually sees me. So what is this behavior that 99% of men fail to practice? Today, we're going to break down 7 ways this simple quality can transform the way you communicate and build connection. Some are obvious once you hear them, but the final lesson goes much deeper because this isn't really about making someone chase you. It's about becoming someone people genuinely feel comfortable, respected, and understood around. Here at Victoria Mindset, we explore psychology, relationships, emotional intelligence, confidence, and personal growth so you can build stronger connections without pretending to be someone you're not. And if you've ever noticed that the most memorable people aren't always the loudest or most impressive ones, take a second to like this video and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what makes you feel genuinely understood by another person? Your answer might help someone else see relationships differently. The first thing many men overlook is simple. Actually listening without immediately trying to fix everything. Imagine a woman is telling you about a stressful day. She isn't necessarily asking you to solve the problem. She may simply want to feel heard. But many people immediately jump into advice mode. You should do this. Why didn't you just say that? Or don't worry about it. The intention may be good, but sometimes the emotional need is different from the practical problem. Real listening means giving someone your attention, asking a thoughtful question, remembering what they said, and allowing them to finish their thought. It doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means showing that their experience matters enough for you to understand before you respond. And that small difference can completely change a conversation. Once someone feels heard, something else becomes important: presence. Being present isn't about staring intensely into someone's eyes or performing some attraction technique. It's much simpler. Put the phone away. Don't constantly look around the room. Don't mentally prepare your next impressive sentence while the other person is speaking. Actually be there. Think about how rare that has become. We live in a world where notifications compete for our attention every few seconds. So when someone gives you undivided attention, it can feel surprisingly meaningful. A woman may not remember every sentence you said, but she may remember how easy it felt to talk to you. And that's an important distinction. Connection isn't always created by extraordinary conversations. Sometimes it's created by ordinary conversations where the other person feels completely present. But attention alone isn't enough. There's another quality that can make interaction feel much lighter: genuine playfulness. Playfulness doesn't mean constantly making jokes or trying to become a comedian. It means allowing conversations to breathe, a little humor, a shared laugh, a playful observation, a moment where neither person feels like they're being evaluated. Think about 2 people sitting together after a long day. They start talking about something completely ordinary, then suddenly laugh about a ridiculous detail. Nothing important happened. Yet that moment becomes memorable. Why? Because emotional experiences often matter more than information. When people associate you with comfort, laughter, curiosity, or warmth, they may naturally enjoy being around you more, but don't force it. If you're constantly trying to be funny because you're afraid of silence, people can feel the effort. Real confidence allows both laughter and quiet moments. And that leads to something deeper. Emotional safety. A person feels emotionally safe when they don't constantly feel judged, mocked, pressured, or punished for expressing themselves. This doesn't mean becoming passive or agreeing with everything. It means being able to disagree without becoming disrespectful. It means not using someone's vulnerability against them later. It means respecting a boundary when they say no. It means understanding that attraction doesn't give anyone permission to ignore another person's comfort. This matters because genuine connection requires freedom. If someone feels they have to perform, impress, or constantly protect themselves around you, closeness becomes difficult. Mutual interest grows best when both people feel they can be themselves. And once that foundation exists, reliability becomes incredibly powerful. Think about the difference between someone who constantly makes big promises and someone who simply does what they said they would do. The second person may not appear as dramatic, but over time, their behavior creates something much more valuable. Trust. If you say you'll call, call. If plans change, communicate. If you make a mistake, acknowledge it. Consistency may not create instant fireworks, but it creates something that can last longer than excitement. And this is where many people misunderstand attraction. They think they need to constantly create uncertainty to stay interesting. But healthy connection doesn't depend on emotional games. Someone doesn't need to wonder whether you'll suddenly disappear just to find you attractive. Being dependable doesn't make you boring. When combined with confidence, individuality, humor, and emotional depth, it makes you trustworthy. And trust creates space for something even more subtle. Remembering the little things. Maybe she mentioned an important meeting. Maybe she told you about a hobby she loves. Maybe she casually mentioned that she had been working toward a personal goal. Remembering doesn't mean keeping a database of everything she says. It means paying enough attention that meaningful details stay with you. Imagine someone asking you days later, "How did that presentation go?" That question can land differently, not because it's a grand romantic gesture, but because it communicates something simple. I listened. And sometimes that is more powerful than trying to impress someone. The final major lesson is one many people overlook completely. Having a life and identity of your own, being attentive, doesn't mean becoming obsessed. Being caring doesn't mean abandoning your goals. Being available doesn't mean being available every second. A healthy connection usually gives both people room to remain individuals. Continue working on your goals. Maintain friendships. Develop your interests. Take care of your responsibilities. Build a life you're proud of, because confidence isn't simply believing someone will like you. Confidence is knowing you'll still respect yourself even if they don't. That mindset changes the entire dynamic. You don't have to chase approval. You don't have to perform. You don't have to manipulate someone's emotions. You can simply meet another person with curiosity and respect and see whether the connection is mutual. And here's the bonus lesson. The thing women, or honestly, people in general, often appreciate most isn't one magical behavior. It's the emotional experience created by the combination of all these small behaviors: listening, presence, playfulness, respect, reliability, remembering, confidence. None of these alone guarantees attraction. Human relationships are far too complex for that, but together they communicate something powerful. You don't have to pretend around me, and maybe that's the deeper lesson. Stop asking, "What can I do to make her like me?" Start asking, "What kind of person am I becoming when I'm around someone I care about?" Because the goal isn't to discover a secret button that controls someone's feelings. The goal is to become someone who communicates clearly, listens deeply, respects boundaries, keeps his word, maintains his self-respect, and creates room for another person to be themselves. That's the kind of presence people remember. So remember this. Genuine attraction isn't built by trying to control how someone feels about you. It's built by becoming someone whose presence feels honest, safe, confident, and real. If this message gave you a different perspective on attraction and relationships, like the video, subscribe to Victoria Mindset, and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to build stronger relationships without losing yourself in the process, watch the next video, because that's where the deeper work really begins.